Today we journey back to one of the most fateful battles in English history. This was not just a battle. It was a clash between conservative Anglo-Saxon England and the ambitious Norman power. Before we begin this historical journey, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you won't miss any of our exciting history videos. In 1066, the Kingdom of England entered a period of great turmoil. King Edward the Confessor died in January without leaving an heir, triggering a fierce struggle for the English crown among several powerful figures. Two prominent claimants emerged: Harold Godwinson, head of a powerful Anglo-Saxon noble family, and William, Duke of Normandy, who had familial ties to the English royal court. Edward was said to have promised the throne to William, but on his deathbed he allegedly changed his mind and named Harold as his successor. Harold quickly gained the support of the English nobility and was crowned King Harold II soon after Edward's death. Meanwhile, in the west, William began preparing a massive invasion force, comprising cavalry, archers, and infantry, ready to cross the sea and assert his claim to the English throne, which he believed had been rightfully promised to him. The Normans' meticulous preparations, combined with the Roman Church's backing, laid the groundwork for a full-scale invasion. At precisely 9 a.m. on October 14, 1066, two armies faced off on the fields below Senlac Hill. King Harold led the English forces positioned defensively atop the ridge in a formidable shield wall formation. William commanded the Norman army from below, initiating the battle with a hail of arrows and javelins. Norman archers relentlessly bombarded the English shield wall, but Harold's soldiers, armed with massive shields, blocked most of the incoming fire. Norman cavalry and infantry then surged up the hill, attempting to break through the English line. Despite fierce resistance, the Norman assaults continued with determination. As the initial attacks failed, William reorganized his forces and launched renewed offensives, coordinating archers and infantry in multi-pronged attacks. Arrows continued to rain down, while cavalry on both flanks tried to create breakthroughs. The English shield wall held firm. Even under intense missile fire, the Anglo-Saxon warriors stood their ground. With iron discipline, they refused to break formation, blocking wave after wave of Norman attacks. By late afternoon, both sides were exhausted. The prolonged combat began to sap English morale, but their solid formation and unyielding defense forced the Normans to fight for every inch. As daylight faded, the battle seemed evenly matched. Then came the turning point. William employed a clever ruse. He ordered a portion of his forces to feign retreat. Believing the Normans were fleeing in panic, some English soldiers abandoned the shield wall to pursue them. This broke the once impenetrable formation. The Norman cavalry quickly wheeled around and struck back with devastating effect. The pursuing English troops were isolated and cut down, leaving deadly gaps in the defensive line. William's tactic worked brilliantly, allowing the Normans to gain the upper hand. By the end of the day, the battle focused on the center of the English line, where King Harold himself was positioned. According to legend, and as depicted in the Bayeux Tapestry, Harold was struck in the eye by a Norman projectile during the fighting. While historical accounts vary, one fact is certain: the English king was killed in battle. His death shattered English morale. Leaderless, the Anglo-Saxon army collapsed and fled, clearing the way for a decisive Norman victory. William emerged triumphant. On December 25, 1066, at Westminster Abbey, he was crowned King William I of England. This victory marked the end of Anglo-Saxon rule in England and the beginning of a new era. Norman lords replaced the old nobility, French became the language of the court and elite society, and Norman-style castles and churches began to dominate the landscape. Though crowned king, William faced resistance across the country. Between 1068 and 1070, rebellions erupted in the north and west. William responded with ruthless force, including the infamous harrying of the north, a brutal campaign of suppression and devastation. By 1071, the last uprisings had been crushed, and Norman authority was firmly established. The Battle of Hastings brought permanent change. The entire Anglo-Saxon aristocracy was replaced by Normans. The English Church was reorganized under French influence, and Latin and Anglo-Norman began replacing Old English in official texts and documents. In 1086, William ordered the Domesday Book, a comprehensive survey of land and property, to consolidate his control. Ultimately, Anglo-Norman culture emerged, a fusion of Celtic, Anglo-Saxon, and Norman traditions, creating a new medieval England. The events of 1066 marked the beginning of a transformative chapter in English history.